Shabbat Shalom, family. Glory and honor to the Father Yahweh, the creator of heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and the God and Father of the Most High's Son, Messiah, Mashiach, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, who is the high priest to take away our sin and to receive righteousness. Glory and honor to Father Yahweh, and glory and honor to Messiah Yahweh Shah. Greetings to the 12 tribes of the Father Yah, 12 tribes of Israel scattered into the four corners of the earth, who are now awakening according to the word of the Father, awakening to who they are, where they're from, who their bloodline is, and where they're going. Praise the Most High. Greetings. Greetings to the 144,000 who are now among them, the ones who are the forerunners of the return of Messiah, as John the Baptist was the forerunner of the first appearance of the Messiah. So the 144,000 are now the forerunners of the second appearance of Messiah. Greetings. Greetings to the precious ones among the children of Shem, Ham, and Japhet, who are now the bloodline, but through the blood of the line of the tribe of Judah, the lamb that was slain, they are now placed within the family of Israel. Greetings. Greetings to the chat, Isha Shama, Diamond Holdings, Brother Baldy, Yakoba, Brother Yakoba, Brother Gary Joseph, Imani Bakash, Brother Lonnie and Sister Joyce, Brother Mark, Brother Manny, Brother David Harry, Arkawan Banya, Sister Azariah Yisrael, Only One Way, Stephen Kelly, Extreme Art, Castle King, my brother Naviska 23, my brother Yafi. Brother, greetings to all of you as we are now in the last couple of chapters of the book of Revelation. And today we're looking at Revelation 21. And to me, this is one of the greatest promises in the Bible, Revelation chapter 21. Brother Francis, Revelation chapter 21. Brother, let's look at, let's go first to 2 Peter. We actually stopped by there yesterday. So let's go back to Brother Kafa in 2 Peter, his epistle to the Hebrews. And by the way, in case people don't understand that Peter's epistles were to the Hebrews, the two letters that he wrote were to the Hebrews. Notice 1 Peter chapter 1 and verse 1. Actually, verse 1 and 2. 1 Peter chapter 1, verses 1 and 2. Peter, an apostle of Messiah Yahushua, to the strangers scattered throughout Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, and Bithynia, elect according to the foreknowledge of Yahweh the Father, through sanctification of the Spirit and unto obedience and sprinkling of the blood of Messiah Yahushua. Grace unto you and peace be multiplied. Notice the strangers are exiles or pilgrims. The strangers, exiles. An exile is somebody that was somewhere, usually in a country, and they have to leave that country and go to a foreign country that's foreign to them. That's an exile. That's a stranger. And he says they were scattered, and he said they were elect according to the foreknowledge of the Father, and he uses the term sprinkling. Sprinkling of the blood is what Moses was told to do with the blood of bulls and goats and lambs when they were having the meeting between the Father and the nation of Israel to have a covenant. So the sprinkling was the blood of Moses on the people and on the covenant. And so this sprinkling is by the blood of Messiah. This is Hebrew type of talk here. And then, of course, you go to James, who is the brother before that. And James chapter 1, verse 1, he makes it even more plain. James chapter 1, verse 1, another brother that was sent as the apostle to the Hebrews, James, a servant of Yahweh and of the Master, Yahweh Shah, Messiah, to the 12 tribes, which are scattered abroad. Greeting. So you can see that both Peter and James and John, as Paul bore witness, were apostles appointed to the Hebrews, whereas Paul was an apostle appointed to give the message of the Hebrew Messiah to the Gentiles. Many have taken Paul's writings and have, of course, perverted them to create their own Gentile religion, and they call it Christianity. There is no Gentile religion, Christianity, in the Bible. Moses didn't have Christianity. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob didn't have Christianity. Messiah didn't come to create a religion called Christianity. In fact, Messiah, Moses, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob never created or coined any religion. They all were followers chosen by the Creator. Okay, they didn't group themselves by a religion. If they were grouped at all, it was by a nation. They were all of Israel. Now, does the Gentiles get salvation? Well, that's the whole point of Paul's ministry, to the Jew first and also to the Greek. So, but it's not a call to create a new religion made up of Gentiles. Okay, 2 Peter chapter 3. 2 Peter chapter 3. Let's see. I'm gonna read 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 8. 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 8, because I think among many people, I've met many people that have had confusion here. And this is one of the areas where the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses would help. Okay, and you'll see what I mean in a minute. In 2 Peter 3, verse 8, but beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with Yahweh as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as one day. Some have taken this and they've really run off with it with this one verse. They said, well, then that means it took 7,000 years to create the earth. But the Bible says in 6 days in the covenant, Yah created the heaven and earth. Days meaning evenings and mornings, not thousands. Okay. And 6 days, Yah created heaven and earth, the sea and all that in them is, and rested the 7th day. So somebody said, well, okay, so what does the 1,000 years mean? Well, what is he saying? He says that to the Most High, 1,000 years is like a day. So in other words, what you and I live on this earth for 7 days, that's what 7,000 years feels like to the Father. It's a very short time to him. Whereas 7 days is a short time for us. 7,000 years is a short time for him. And why did he bring that up? Because in the beginning of this section of the epistle, he says that there are people saying, where is the promise of his coming? For since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were from the beginning of the creation. So he's saying, they're saying, well, where's this return of the Messiah? We ain't seeing it. And Peter is saying, oh, you're looking in terms of a couple of days. But the Father looks in terms of thousands of years, like you look at a couple of days. Okay, so he looks in terms of thousands of years. And of course, we see that there's 1,000-year reign of Messiah, which we're about to embark on very shortly. And so that when you're looking at the Bible context of time of the kingdom, from the beginning, from Adam until the 1,000-year reign is done, it's 7,000 years. Okay, it's 7,000 years. And so we're going into a 1,000-year reign very shortly. And that is what we're looking at when we look at Revelation chapter 21. We're looking at the 1,000-year reign, and we're looking at the messianic kingdom that we're about to embark on, that the Bible is talking about. Now, most people on the earth, and certainly we see it here in the United States of America, very proud of their nations, right? Very proud, and they'll wave their flag. And then you even got people that wave flags of nations that don't even exist anymore, like the Confederate flag. And you got people that's flying that too. But they're all proud of their nations and their flag of their nations. But as followers of the Bible, okay, as followers of the Bible, and meaning that this is if we have a religion, it's this book. There's no name to it. This is the holy book, the sacred book, the set aside book. That's it. And within the pages of this book, there is a kingdom to come that's been prophesied, that's been given from the Father. That's the promises of it are in the book, of course. Whereas we saw here in 2 Peter, we see it in Ezekiel. We're going to see it in Ezekiel again today. And then, of course, there's Isaiah. We're going to see it there too, witnessing the kingdom that is going to really reign. And as Daniel says, it will not be left to other people, but the kingdom will reign forever, even forever and ever. Okay, so the kingdom that we're looking for is not going to be replaced by any other kingdom. It is the last kingdom on planet Earth forever. And so we're going to bear witness to that. We'll let the Bible give us the 2 or 3 witnesses, as we mentioned, of that fact. But first, let's go to Revelation 21 itself and look at the promise in Revelation chapter 21. Now, you noticed, if you did, that we looked at Revelation 19 and we looked at Revelation 20, and we saw 2 resurrections. Okay, and we compared that to some of the prophets, the Hebrew prophets of the Old Testament, and one of the witnesses we saw was Ezekiel. And in Ezekiel, in both 38 and 39, it's telling you that the heathen, led by Gog and Magog, are going to surround the city and come upon the mountains of Israel. So you all see that, right? So in the first resurrection and the second resurrection, the heathen try to take the city. And again, we see here, even in Revelation chapter 19, the Bible says that I saw the beasts and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat upon the earth, upon his horse, and against his army. And then in chapter 20, it says, and talking about Asatan, and when the 1,000 years are expired, Asatan shall be loosed out of his prison and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the 4 quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, then to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. That's the second time he's doing that. And they went up in the breadth of the earth and compassed the camp of the saints and the beloved city. So the city is going to be here in the first resurrection. After we're done on the sea of glass and the plagues have accomplished what the plagues were going to accomplish, the city will be here on planet Earth and we'll be with the city. Does that make sense, everybody? So we'll be with the city, and the city will be here, and they were going to try to take the city, and they'll fail twice. Try to take the city and fail twice. Okay, first resurrection and second resurrection. Try to take it and not be able to make it. First group is going to represent Babylon, the beast, and the false prophet. The second group is going to represent all of the lost souls, led by Asatan and led by Gog and Magog, as Ezekiel pointed out to us. So you're going to see twice them try to take the city. And of course, we understand why they would try, because first of all, their leader, Asatan, wants to be God, he wants to be the Most High. And within that city, there is the tree of life. And if he could eat that, that's what he wanted Adam to do. When Adam sinned against the Father, he said, if the Father said, oh no, we can't let him eat this tree and live forever in a sinful state and as a sinner. And so they sent cherubim and with swords, and they said, you got to get out this garden, sir. You've been evicted. And Adam was evicted and Eve was evicted from the garden. So they could not touch the tree of life. And so, of course, Satan's not giving up. And he's got this earth where he's trying to get them riled to marshal to armies under him, which they will be, and they're going to try to take the city. So what you're looking at in Revelation chapter 21 is when the city comes down, which we're going to all be part of by the grace of the Most High. Okay, so here, Revelation chapter 21. So again, this happens in the first resurrection. Revelation chapter 21, beginning at verse 1 and going down to verse 6, actually verse 7, Revelation chapter 21 from verse 1 to 7. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from Yahweh out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of Yahweh is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and Yahweh himself shall be with them and be their most high. And Yahweh shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow, nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. And he that sat upon the throne said, Behold, I make all things new. And he said unto me, Write, for these words are true and faithful. And he said to me, It is done. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. I will give unto him that is athirst of the fountain of the water of life freely. He that overcometh shall inherit all things, and I will be his most high, and he shall be my son. So the kingdom will have no sorrow, nor pain, nor death, nor crying. All the pain and former things that you and I have experienced will be washed away. You won't remember them. And we're going to see that. You're going to know bad things happened, but how you're going to know that is by seeing Asatan in the second resurrection and seeing the marks that are going to be permanently left on Mashiach. So you'll know that there was a war, that there was some bad things that happened on earth, and you're going to know you were there. But exactly that pain, the exact nightmares you might have had that you lived through, you won't remember that anymore. The pain will be gone, and the glory of the kingdom will replace everything you suffered. Praise the Most High. And so the difference between those of us in that kingdom, see, that's the kingdom we're looking for. What we understand when you see this is that all the kingdoms of planet Earth today are temporary. All the kingdoms of planet Earth today are temporary. There's no kingdom that's with the United Nations or anything else that's going to exist in the new kingdom of Messiah. Now, there'll be nations and there'll be kings of those nations, but they won't be according to what you see now. It'll be new. There'll be nations that follow the Most High based in righteousness. No, you won't remember your own sins. You won't remember anything. As far as anything that happened, you'll know that you don't deserve to be there. You'll know that something miraculous took place. You'll understand that you went through some things, but you won't remember exactly what it was. And when you look at your book in heaven, all you're going to see is righteousness. Okay? You'll be trying to, the Bible, look, in fact, let me show you in Psalms 37. Psalms 37. Psalms 37. Yeah, as I said, to me, these are some of the greatest promises in the word. And this is the kingdom that you and I are looking forward to. As I said, you can see people with their flags and their pride and all of that. Cool. You let them do that because that's their business. But we are partaking of a kingdom that's coming, that'll take over all these kingdoms. As Daniel said, we'll destroy all these kingdoms and it will stand forever. It's a kingdom of righteousness, which we are looking for. Now, while we are here, we're seeking to be sealed in the Father's spirit of righteousness that will allow us to possess that kingdom. So that as Messiah was a representative of the Father and his perfection of righteousness and truth and love, and he was sent here to this kingdom, to this earth, so shall we, as being born again in the spirit, now understand that we are exiles. We are exiles on this earth in this kingdom. And the kingdom that we're going to be citizens of is yet to be shown, but it's going to be shown very soon. Praise the Most High. Psalms 37. Psalms 37. I'm going to begin at verse 7 of Psalm 37 and go down to verse 11. Psalm 37 from verse 7 to 11. Rest in Yahweh and wait patiently for him. Fret not thyself because of him who prospereth in his way, because of the man who bringeth wicked devices to pass. Cease from anger and forsake wrath. Fret not thyself in any wise to do evil, for evildoers shall be cut off. But those that wait upon Yahweh, they shall inherit the earth. And of course, we're talking about the earth made new, the kingdom. For yet a little while, and the wicked shall not be. Yea, thou shalt diligently consider his place, and it shall not be. But the meek shall inherit the earth, and shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace. So we're going to be considering, what was that on the earth? We know there was some bad stuff. We know there was some trial. We know there was some, but it won't be there anymore. There'll be no more thought of evil in your mind. Can you imagine? No more thought of temptation in your mind. It won't even exist anymore. No more evil imagination will be there. You'll be gone. You won't remember it. And the glory of what you're going to be in will be so overwhelming that it won't come to your mind. It'll be like, what was that? I don't know. We're here now. Isaiah chapter 64. Isaiah chapter 64. Let's let the prophets talk to us. Let's let our cousins and our brothers from our forefathers, the founding fathers of the nation, let's let them talk to us. Isaiah chapter 64. Okay, I'm going to begin at verse 1, Isaiah 64. I'm going to begin at verse 1. And I'm going to read from verse 1 down to verse 4. Isaiah 64 from verse 1 to verse 4. Oh, that thou wouldest rend the heavens, that thou wouldest come down, that the mountains might flow down at thy presence. When the melting fire burneth, and the fire causeth the waters to boil, to make thy name known to thine adversaries, that the nations may tremble at thy presence. When thou didst terrible things which we looked not for, thou camest down, and the mountain flowed at thy presence. For since the beginning of the world, men have not heard, nor perceived by the ear, neither hath the eye seen, O Yahweh, beside thee, what he hath prepared for him that waiteth for him. And Paul quotes that same thing. I have not seen nor ear heard, neither has it entered into the mind of man the things Yah has prepared for us. We can't imagine yet what it is, but the description gives us a glimpse. We're looking through a glass darkly, gives us a glimpse, really. No more death. There'll be no more pain. You won't be able to remember anything that hurt you. You remember you were hurt, but you can't feel any effect of it anymore. It'll be gone. And the energy you will use trying to consider what it was will be useless, for you won't be able to. You're going to only know that it was solved by that man with those marks in his hands. You're going to know it was solved by him. You're going to know that you have been given the coat of righteousness that you wear at that time from him and his Father. And it's going to be an overwhelming sense of humility, understanding the glory you're in. It's going to be amazing, brother. And this is the kingdom that you and I are working toward. This is the kingdom we're working toward. We're working toward a kingdom of righteousness. And therefore, we know we must cast off our sin, which means we must confess it to the Father in the blood of the Messiah and receive the perfection that the Father wants to give us, that we can stand in that kingdom. That takes a humility. That takes an understanding of your shortcomings, whereas the wicked will not have that humility. They will not care because they want to glorify man, and that's the difference. We're looking for a kingdom of Father Yah and Messiah. People are looking for a kingdom of man. And if you look at it, these flag wavers, they think this is their kingdom and that it's going to last forever. That's what they think. Okay, this is their kingdom. It's going to last forever. That's why I say we understand the kingdom is temporary. It's going to be destroyed. It's not going to last forever. But the kingdom of Father Yah, that's going to last forever. That's going to last forever. Okay, so that's the kingdom we want to be a part of, because the spirit we're seeking from the Father is forever. The righteous spirit that the Father seals us with will never die. Therefore, if we have it, guess what? We will never die. Praise the Most High. Praise the Most High. Now, Isaiah chapter 65. Isaiah chapter 65. I'm going to begin here at verse 14. Actually, I'm going to begin at verse 13. Isaiah 65, from 13 down to 25. Isaiah 65, from 13 to 25. Again, Isaiah is bearing witness of the kingdom. Okay, Isaiah is bearing witness of the kingdom. Isaiah 65, 13 to 25. Therefore, thus saith the Most High Yahweh, behold, my servants shall eat, but ye, talking about the wicked, ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. Behold, my servants shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart, and shall howl for vexation of spirit. And ye shall leave your name for a curse unto my chosen. For the Most High Yahweh shall slay thee, and call his servants by another name. That he who blesseth himself in the earth shall bless himself in the Most High of truth. He that sweareth in the earth shall swear by the Most High of truth. Because the former troubles are forgotten, because they are hid from mine eyes. For behold, I create new heavens and a new earth. The former shall not be remembered, nor come into mind. But be ye glad and rejoice forever in that which I create. For behold, I create Jerusalem a rejoicing, and her people a joy. And I will rejoice in Jerusalem and joy in my people. And the voice of weeping shall be no more heard in her, nor the voice of crying. For there shall be no more thence an infant of days, nor an old man that hath not filled his days. For the child shall die 100 years old, but the sinner being 100 years old shall be accursed. What does that mean? That means a person will be considered a child for the first 100 years of their life. Whereby in this earth, when you get to 100 years old, you've made it something, right? But you're suffering. You're old. You can't move. You can't do anything that you used to do when you were younger. Whereas in the kingdom, you're just getting started as an infant when you're 100 years old. So in other words, you graduate from being an infant to a toddler at 100 years. Versus here, if somebody makes it to 100 years, everybody celebrates, but that person may not even know where they are. And they shall build houses and inhabit them. And they shall plant vineyards and eat the fruit of them. They shall not build and another inhabit. They shall not plant and another eat. For as the days of a tree are the days of my people, and mine elect shall long enjoy the work of their hands. They shall not labor in vain, nor bring forth for trouble. For they are the seed of the blessed of Yahweh, and their offspring with them. And it shall come to pass that before they call, I will answer. And while they are yet speaking, I will hear. And the wolf and the lamb shall feed together, and the lion shall eat straw like the bullock, and dust shall be the serpent's meat. And they shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain, saith Yahweh. Yeah, that's the kingdom. That's what we're about. Brethren, we are only a few years from this. We're only a few years from this. Okay. And this is why it's going to be so intense in the next 3.5 years. It's going to be very intense. And it's going to culminate in the fall of 2027. By the grace of the Father, we will be receiving that latter rain that will prepare us for the final movements. It's just a few years. We're actually here. It's scary, but it's exciting at the same time. Yes, exactly. There'll be 1,000 years of peace, 1,000 years. And that's why, if you remember, when we looked at Ezekiel in the second resurrection of chapter 38, they came and they saw unwalled villages. And they were like, oh, shoot. And the Bible said they're going to think an evil thought. They're going to see unwalled villages, people living in peace. And they're going to say, oh, we could take that. You saw, let's look at that. Ezekiel chapter 38. Remember we saw this yesterday? Ezekiel chapter 38. Notice what it says, beginning at verse 8 and going down to verse 12. Ezekiel chapter 38 from verse 8 to verse 12. This is what they're going to think in the second resurrection. After many days thou shalt be visited. That's at the end of the 1,000 years. In the latter years thou shalt come into the land that is brought back from the sword and is gathered out of many people against the mountains of Israel, which have been always waste, but is brought forth out of the nations. That is, of course, the scattered people coming back to the land, right? Brought forth out of the nations, and they shall dwell safely, all of them. Thou shalt ascend and come like a storm. Thou shalt be like a cloud to cover the land, thou and all thy bands and many people with thee. Thus saith the Most High Yahweh, it shall come to pass that at that same time shall things come into thy mind. Well, we know who's putting that in their mind, right? Things shall come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought, and thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages. I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls and having neither bars nor gates, to take a spoil, to take a prey, to turn thine hand upon the desolate places that are now inhabited, and upon the people that are gathered out of the nations, which have gotten cattle and goods that dwell in the midst of the land. See? So they're going to see it and they're going to say, oh man, we got to take that. We got to discover it. Huh? We got to discover it. And they're going to see that after 1,000 years, we don't need no gates. We don't need no bars. We don't need no locks on our doors. There's nobody stealing nothing from nobody. Nobody coveting what somebody else has. Everybody living in harmony and peace. And they're going to see that. And of course, the people of the second resurrection are not like that. They will take, they will rob, they will spoil, they will kill, they will destroy. And brethren, I don't think that takes any imagination, because you see it right now. And you see the result of it right now. The leading nations of this earth became leading nations by bloodshed, by revolution, by taking and killing. And so you see it. So they're going to come up in that second resurrection with the same warlike, aggressive tendencies that they went down in, that they inherited from their father, the devil. And we're going to be dwelling after 1,000 years in a kingdom that's at peace. We're all in harmony, and their presence will break the harmony, which is why the fire is going to come. Praise the Most High. And they're going to be preparing, as we said, it could be months, could be years. They're preparing for war. All the leading generals from all the ages. Napoleon, Hitler, Mussolini, all of them. Okay, all of the Caesars, they're going to come up and they're going to see the land. Alexander, they're going to see it. They're going to say, okay, this is how we will attack it and take it. Okay, praise the Most High. So now, that's why we're in Ezekiel. Let's look at now Ezekiel telling us more about the kingdom. Chapter 47. Chapter 47. Ezekiel telling us more about the kingdom. Now, I will have to tell you right up front, there's some things I don't understand. Imagine that. No, there's things I don't get. Minor things, but they'll be explained to me and to you eventually by the Spirit. But there's some things I still don't quite get, but we'll look at them together here in Ezekiel 47. But most of it is clearly, relevant, understood, and easily understood. So let's take a look in Ezekiel chapter 47. Ezekiel chapter 47. And he's showing Ezekiel a river that comes from the throne. And we're going to know from Revelation that's the river of the water of life, which Revelation 21 just talked to us about, where the Messiah said, he that overcometh, I'm going to give them the river of the water of life to drink freely. Okay. Ezekiel was swimming in it. Ezekiel chapter 47, and begin at verse 6 and go down to verse 12. Ezekiel 47, 6 to 12. Son of man, hast thou seen this? Then he brought me and caused me to return to the brink of the river. Now, when I had returned, behold, at the bank of the river were very many trees on one side and on the other. Then said he unto me, these waters issue out toward the east country, and go down into the desert, and go into the sea, which being brought forth into the sea, the waters shall be healed. And it shall come to pass that everything that liveth, which moveth, whithersoever the river shall come, shall live. And there shall be a very great multitude of fish, because these waters, they come hither, for they shall be healed. And everything shall live whither the water cometh. And it shall come to pass that the fishers shall stand upon it, from Engedi even to Engelium, and they shall be a place to spread forth nets. Their fish shall be according to their kinds, as the fish of a great sea, exceeding many. But the miry places thereof and the marshes thereof shall not be healed. They shall be given to salt. So apparently you're going to have salt water and fresh water. Okay. And by the river upon the bank thereof, on this side and on that side, shall grow all trees for meat, whose leaf shall not fade, neither shall the fruit thereof be consumed. It shall bring forth new fruit according to his months, because their waters they issued out of the sanctuary. And the fruit thereof shall be for meat, and the leaf for medicine. So the tree is for our healing and growth, and we'll be eating the fruit, and you will never be able to eat all the fruit off the tree, because the more you eat, the more there's going to be there. And the tree is being fed by waters that come from the river of life, from the sanctuary. And we'll be eating of that tree. Praise the Most High. Okay, so then he goes into the borders of the nation. And I'm not going to go into all of that now, but read this when you get a chance from verse 13 to 23. He goes into the borders of the nation, the borders of the capital nation, which is Israel. The Messiah was asked, Yahushua was asked, Lord, wilt thou at this time restore the kingdom to Israel? Well, here is the borders of Israel, and it goes into it in great detail, and it tells them all the 12 tribes, and it goes there. And let's go down and let's start at verse 21 and read from 21 down to 23, because here's where it mentions the Gentiles that are going to also be part of the kingdom, the ones who have surrendered to this truth of the Father's perfect righteousness. That Father is light, and in him is no darkness at all, and he's chosen the former slaves as his appointed people. Ezekiel 47 from verse 21 down to verse 23. Notice what the word says. See, when I don't understand something, as there's some things I don't understand here, I just take it for what it says. I don't try to, make a meaning out of it because I'm afraid to misappropriate it. So I just take it what it says and say, okay, this is what it says. So shall ye divide this land unto you according to the tribes of Israel. And it shall come to pass that ye shall divide it by lot for an inheritance unto you, and to the strangers that sojourn among you, which shall beget children among you, and they shall be unto you as born in the country among the children of Israel. And they shall have inheritance with you among the tribes of Israel. And it shall come to pass that in what tribe the stranger sojourner, there shall he give him his inheritance, saith the Most High Yahweh. So the strangers are not the bloodline of the tribes. The bloodline of the tribes will have territory according to their tribe, but the stranger can choose whichever territory they want and come there, and they'll have children there. They can raise their family there. It's gonna be there forever. Praise the Most High. Praise the Most High. According to the, you see, so there you go. Then in chapter 48, it goes again into the borders of the 12 tribes. And then we're going to begin here. Let's go from, let's see. I'm going to start at verse 11 of chapter 48. And I'm going to read from verse 11 and go down to verse 35 piece by piece. But let's go from verse 11 to verse 19. This is Ezekiel 48. Again, he's talking about the kingdom. So we've seen the tree of life. We've seen the river of life. We've seen the 12 tribes get their inheritance. We've seen the strangers, which are the Gentiles, that are going to be among us and have children among us. Isn't this? And there'll be no need to worry about somebody hurting your child, or no need to worry about your child wandering off with a stranger. Nobody will be strangers. We'll all be family. Nobody will hurt anybody's child. And no child will ever be in danger. Praise the Most High. Ezekiel 48 from verse 11 to verse 19. That's right. No more pedophiles, no more rapes, no more pervs, no more sex trafficking. There'll be honor and joy and bliss in the kingdom. The children will not be crying like they do here. They'll be content. Praise the Most High. And everybody will be at peace with each other. I can trust you with my children. You could trust me with your children. We're not hurting nobody. Praise the Most High. It shall be for the priests that are sanctified, verse 11, of the sons of Zadok. Sons of Zadok. Zadok means righteousness. Okay. It shall be for the priests that are sanctified of the sons of Zadok, the sons of righteousness, which have kept my charge, which went not astray when the children of Israel went astray, as the Levites went astray. And the oblation of the land that is offered shall be unto them a thing most holy, and by the border of the Levites. And over against the border of the priests, the Levites, shall have 5 and 20,000 in length and 10,000 in breadth, and all the length shall be 5 and 20,000 and breadth 10,000. This is the suburbs of the Levites. Suburbs, every tribe will have a little suburb for the Levites. That's going all the way back to Moses. And they shall not sell it, neither exchange it, nor alienate the first fruits of the land, for it is holy unto Yahweh. And the 5,000 that are left in the breadth over against the 5 and 20,000 shall be a profane place for the city, for dwelling, and for suburbs, and city shall be in the midst thereof. And these shall be measures thereof: the north side 4,500, the south side 4,500, the east side 4,500, and the west side 4,500. And the suburbs of the city shall be toward the north 250, toward the south 250, toward the east 250, and these are in cubits, and toward the west 250. And the residue of the length over against the oblation of the holy portion shall be 10,000 eastward and 10,000 westward, and over against the oblation of the holy portion, and the increase thereof shall be for food unto them that serve the city. And they that serve the city shall serve it out of all the tribes of Israel. And all the oblation shall be 5 and 20,000 and 5 and 20,000, and ye shall offer the holy oblation 4 square in the possession of the city. And the residue shall be for the prince. On the prince, we know who that is. For the prince on one side, on the other side, on the other of the holy oblation and of the possession of the city, over against 5 and 20,000, and the oblation toward the east border and westward, over against the 5 and 20,000 toward the west border, over against the portions of the prince. For the prince, it shall be holy oblation, and the sanctuary of the house shall be in the midst thereof. Moreover, from the possession of the Levites, and from the possession of the city, being in the midst of that which is the princes, between the border of Judah and the border of Benjamin, shall be for the prince. And as for the rest of the tribes, from the east side unto the west side, Benjamin shall have a portion. And by the border of Benjamin, from the east side unto the west side, Simeon shall have a portion. And by the border of Simeon, from the east side unto the west side, Issachar shall have a portion. And by the border of Issachar, from the east side unto the west side, Zebulun shall have a portion. And by the border of Zebulun, from the east side unto the west side, Gad shall have a portion. And by the border of Gad, at the south side, southward, and from the border, and the border shall be even from Tamar unto the waters of strife in Kadesh, to the river toward the east, toward the great sea, excuse me. And this is the land which ye shall divide by lot unto the tribes of Israel for inheritance. And these are their portions, said the Most High Yahweh. And these are the goings out of the city on the north side, 4,500 measures. And the gates of the city shall be after the names of the tribes of Israel. 3 gates northward, 1 gate for Reuben, 1 gate of Judah, 1 gate of Levi. And the east side, 4,500 and 3 gates. 1 gate for Joseph, 1 gate for Benjamin, 1 gate for Dan. And on the south side, 4,500 measures and 3 gates. 1 gate for Simeon, 1 gate for Issachar, 1 gate for Zebulun. And on the west side, 4,500 with their 3 gates. 1 gate for Gad, 1 gate for Asher, 1 gate for Naphtali. And it was round about 18,000 measures. And the name of that city from that day shall be Yahweh is there. That is the kingdom that we're going to inherit. And Revelation, of course, gives us more details and says the same thing. Okay, says the same thing. Praise the Most High. Says the same thing. And so and this is what I like about the Bible, because you're reading Revelation, right? And you see these things, but then you go back and you see what Isaiah says, and you see what Ezekiel says, and you get a total overall picture. And you understand that the centerpiece of the kingdom, of the whole earth, is Israel. Israel is the centerpiece, but they're not the only part, because you have strangers and other nations, as it's going to show us in Revelation 21. So it's giving you a total picture. No more crying or death or dying or covetousness or breaking of the covenant or rebellion. No more. That's right. Isaiah 11 also. And the child shall be on the ass hole and not be hurt. There'll be no more hurt or destroying in all my holy mountain. That's right. That's right. Praise the Most High. And so you have a total picture of the kingdom. And it gives you an idea of what's going to be like. And when you look at that in terms of what the Bible says in the holistic sense, it's completely different from what Christianity teaches. Completely different. Okay? Because Christianity uses a couple of verses. If they don't completely change the Bible with a new version anyway, they use a couple of verses and they go take them all out of proportion. Versus when you look at the whole thing, Ezekiel is a Hebrew Israelite prophet of the tribe of Levi, and he's telling you what's going to happen. Isaiah is a Hebrew Israelite prophet. He's telling you what's going to happen. John is a Hebrew Israelite prophet. He's telling you what's going to happen. And they all speak as one. Versus just reading the New Testament and thinking you understand what's getting ready to happen. Which is why it's important that we understand who Israel is. Because that's all it was talking about. Okay, that's all it was talking about. And it's separated in terms of a distinction between the tribes and the stranger. See, that's what people don't understand. So I say, well, it says there's no difference, Paul says. What Paul means when he says there's no difference, and I want you to understand this, because there's no difference between Jew and Greek and Gentile and Jew. What he's talking about, which is the theme of all his writings, is being justified. That's the theme. It's being justified. The process of being declared innocent is no different between Jew and Gentile. The process of receiving righteousness is no different between Jew and Gentile. But to say there's no such thing as Jew and Gentile anymore is to do away with what the Father clearly has said in all his Hebrew Israelite prophets. This is for my people. He calls them my people, Israel. I'm setting this up for my people, Israel. in Messiah. I came not before the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So to try to say that Paul doesn't, first of all, they're blaspheming and they're maligning Paul's words and twisting them because he's talking about justification. In terms of justification, there's no difference. And Paul spent a lot of time telling that to the Gentiles, that there's no difference between us, how we're saved and how you're saved. We're all being declared innocent by the Father's grace and being poured upon with his spirit. All of us are. But he does have a chosen people. And what also Paul says, has Yah forsaken the people he foreknew? No, he has not. All Israel shall be saved. Okay, but there is a distinction between Israel and Gentiles. There is a distinction, which is why Gentiles do not have to be circumcised, but Israelites do. Which is why when you read Acts 15, they went through a lot of trouble to tell Gentiles, you don't need to be circumcised. And then in Acts 16, the first thing Paul does is get Timothy circumcised because his mother was a Hebrew. See, so there is a distinction made. To ignore that is to ignore the Bible. You cannot ignore truth in the word and then claim to be following the word. So there is a distinction made. He does have a chosen people. He knows who they are. And part of our awakening is him showing us who we are. Praise the Most High. Okay. Now, Revelation chapter 21. We stopped at verse 7. So let's start at verse 7 and go from verse 7 down to verse, let me see. Let's go 7 to 12. Yeah. Revelation chapter 21 from verse 7 to 12. He that overcometh shall inherit all things, and I will be his most high, and he shall be my son. But the fearful and unbelieving, and the abominable, and murderers, and whoremongers, and sorcerers, and idolaters, and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. So the lake of fire is the second death. Now, this is the thing, brethren. All of the redeemed can be counted among those people also, but the difference is, again, the redeemed are repentant of their sin. And they want the glory of the Father. You might have been a whoremonger. You might have been abominable. You might have been a sorcerer or idolater or a liar, but you admit this is what you are. You admit that you cannot overcome it. You admit that you need the Father's righteousness so that you can glorify him by escaping these things, versus those that do not seek to escape these things. If all people are sinners, then that means we were there too. Okay, we were there too. But we seek to escape it for the glory of the Father. We seek a change. That's called repentance. We seek to turn around for the glory of the Father. And we get from him mercy and grace through repentance, and we receive of his spirit. That's what differentiates us from them. They trust in man. They look to man, and they're unrepentant. Okay? Verse 9, and there came unto me one of the seven angels which had the seven vials full of the seven last plagues, and talked with me, saying, come hither, I will show thee the bride, the Lamb's wife. So one of the seven angels we saw in Revelation chapter 15 with the vials of wrath. He came and he told John, I'm going to show you the Lamb's wife. Now, many people get confused because the Bible says in Revelation 19, the bride hath made herself ready, right? And here you're going to see New Jerusalem described in that. But what people don't understand is that it's all one, brethren. See, the nation and the kingdom is tied to the people. The people are tied to the kingdom. And then, as you remember, in Revelation chapter 3, under the church of Philadelphia, it was said that the people out of that church are going to have the name of the Father on them, are going to have the name of New Jerusalem on them, are going to have the new name of Messiah on them, so that the 144,000, the Messiah, the Father, The city, one. They shall all be one. And that was Messiah's prayer to the Father in John 17, that we may all be one. Okay. And the Bible says in Zechariah that there'll be only one God and his name one. That's right. Faithless. That's exactly right. Not believing. That's what it comes down to, though, isn't it, though, brothers? Isn't it what comes, right? So look, Hebrews said, he that cometh to Yah must believe that he is. That's the first thing. You must believe that he is. So you're trusting him that he is by faith. By faith. See, when people claim, I don't believe in faith, I'm a man of science. Well, okay, if you're a person of science and you claim you don't need faith, everything you're touching and measuring, you have to believe it touches and measures a certain thing. You have to believe it's representing a certain thing. You have to believe what science teaches you about those things. You got to believe the markings mean thousands of years. You got to believe that because you weren't there. See, my point is everybody, no matter what, has faith in something, either man or the Most High. You can't trust in both. Everybody does. You either trust in the man or the Most High. You cannot be in both camps. Okay? I was in physics class and my physics teacher loved to point that out. Man, I believe in measurements and we're X number of miles from the sun. And I thought to myself, this fool never been to the sun to measure it. What made he think he know how many miles we are from the sun? Oh, he's trusting in some machine that man built to say this is how far we are from the sun. So his faith is in that machine or that measurement. He wasn't there. He hasn't measured it himself. I ain't never argued with him, but if I used to listen to him, I said, okay, so you've been to the sun and you've measured it, how long it takes, and you've actually know what the temperature is because you were there. Because that's what they're saying. That's what they're saying. That's right. Everything you believe in takes faith. Everything. The question is, where are you putting your faith? Are you putting it in the Father and his word? Or are you putting it in man? It comes down to that, the 666, right? It comes down to man. You trust in man, that's our Satan's doctrine. It all takes faith. Okay, I don't care where you are. You want to say you're a scientist? Okay, that takes faith. You want to say the earth is billions of years old? Prove it. What, you were there a million years ago to tell me that's been a million years? That's what it kills me. Well, this is 20,000 years ago. And I'm thinking, how you know that? You were there? You were there 20,000 years ago? How you know that? And so wait, and what tells you this carbon tells you that this is a million years old? Well, how do you measure that? Like, you were in the beginning a million years and you saw the carbon and you saw it develop and you said, okay, that's a million years? Is that how you did it? No, that's not how they did it. What they did is they have faith in the measurements and faith in their own doctrines. That's what it is. It's scientific doctrines that they have faith in. Okay? And they'll laugh at you because you said, well, the earth was made in 6 days. And it's the same thing. I'm saying it by faith, and you're saying it wasn't by faith because neither of us was there. Right? Neither of us was there. So if somebody said, well, the earth couldn't have been made in 6 days. Well, why not? Because science says, oh, so you're trusting in science. I'm trusting in the word of the Father. Neither of us was there when it was made. Exactly. And the Father's proof is his spirit in us. The dreams, the visions, the way he leads us, the way he talks to us, the way things happen that's not by accident. That's our proof. Okay. And then we have the witness of the Hebrew Israelite prophets who are also bearing witness that he has appeared to them. It's in the spirit. Yah is a spirit. They that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. You cannot see the air or the wind, yet you know they exist. And without air, you would die in minutes. So you have a wind. There's a wind that's in your chest. There's a wind keeping you believing, keeping you breathing. Without that wind, you're gone. That's it. You are dead. And the Bible is telling us there's a sacred wind. There's a holy one that comes from the Father. That's what causes our minds to change. That's what causes us to want to do what is right. That's what tells us there is a Father. See, so this thing about science kills me, man, because it'd be like, so all you're doing is trusting in man and man's measurements and man's interpretation. That's all you're doing. You weren't there. Oh, man. See, and that's right. We're looking at the prophetic utterance that has come to pass as he has said it. And you know what? We ain't even got to talk about what the future holds because we got the past as proof. Everything that has happened in the past is in this word, and we have seen it. It has told us about people like Alexander the Great. It told us about the rise of the children of Japhet. It told us about Japhet dwelling in Shem's tent. It tells us about the Roman Catholic Church. It tells us about the awakening after we go into captivity. It tells us about us going in slavery. We have proof of the word coming to pass because we have seen it. And as Hebrews, you are living it. You can go back, for most of us, brethren, you go back 4, maybe 5 generations, and you're on the ship coming through the Atlantic slave trade. You 4 or 5 generations, you're on the ship. You're in slavery. That's it. Okay? You're coming from that. And that's how close it is. So you ain't got to go back millions of years. And then the effects of it, you see. Why is there such a thing as race when the Bible doesn't talk about it? Where it come from? Where it come from? Why is there a Confederate flag? Where did that come from? Why does that exist? And the people that support it, where's that? How did we get to the point where we don't even know what our names are? We're named Smith and Jones. And Smith and Jones comes from Europe, and we daggone sure don't come from Europe. So where Smith and Jones come from? How did that happen? See, we are living the history, brethren. We are here. And the Bible is doubling down on what we have lived. That's all. Praise the Most High. So let's keep going. Revelation chapter 21. Revelation chapter 21. So let's go back to the angel that had the 7 vials. Revelation chapter 21 from verse 9 down to verse 12. Revelation 21, 9 through 12. And there came unto me one of the seven angels, which had the 7 vials, full of the 7 last plagues, and talked with me, saying, Come hither, I will show thee the bride, the Lamb's wife. And he carried me away in the spirit to a great and high mountain, and showed me that great city, holy Jerusalem, descending out of heaven from Yahweh, having the glory of Yahweh. And her light was like unto a stone most precious, even like a jasper stone, clear as crystal. And he had and had a wall great and high, and had 12 gates, and at the gates 12 angels, and names written thereof, which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. Look, anybody believe in this Bible and don't understand that Israel is the centerpiece is really just being willfully ignorant, as Peter says. You got to be willfully ignorant. It tells you in Ezekiel, it tells you in Israel, in Isaiah, it tells you in Zechariah, it tells you in many, many places. And in here in Revelation, you're going to have a capital city with the name of the 12 tribes of Israel on it. And if you don't understand that this is the centerpiece of the kingdom, you're being willfully ignorant. And the centerpiece of this kingdom is not of the children of your fat. You see how much you have to ignore in order to come up with these falsehoods that they come up with. You have to ignore a lot. You have to be willfully ignorant. I'm through trying to explain to people who are willfully ignorant. If you want to be ignorant, I'm going to let you be ignorant. The Bible, this is what the Bible says. If any man be ignorant, let him be ignorant. If that's what you want, you go ahead. I want the truth. Because the kingdom that we're seeking to inherit, the Bible just told us, is for the Yah of truth. Period. Lovers of truth. Praise the Most High. From verse 13 down to verse 16. And on the east 3 gates, and on the north 3 gates, on the south 3 gates, and on the west 3 gates. Wait. Didn't we just read that in Ezekiel 48? And the wall of the city had 12 foundations, and in them the names of the 12 apostles of the land. Now, we didn't see that in Ezekiel 48 because the apostles wasn't there in Ezekiel's life yet. He didn't understand that, but John does. And he that talked with me had a golden reed to measure the city and the gates thereof and the wall thereof. And the city lieth 4 square, and the length is as large as the breadth. And he measured the city with the reed, 12,000 furlongs, and length and breadth and height of it are equal. Perfect. Talk about perfect measurements, perfect mathematics. Okay. Praise the Most High. Praise the Most High. Everything is perfect. And let me take it further. Somebody might ask, I did. How can billions of people fit in that city? Right? How can billions of people fit in there? It's a big city. Gotta be. And it's big. But how can all of us fit in there? You understand, right? That time and space is in the hands of the Father. He can make as many people fit in that city as he wants to, and none of us will be crowded. He can make it look and feel like, man, there's plenty of room. See, because time and space is his. He can make 100 million people fit in there if he wants. And all of us have our own piece of land and everything. And we're all in there. See, don't limit the Father. That's the thing we need to understand, brethren. Don't limit the Heavenly Father. There is nothing he can't do. Okay? Nothing. There's nothing he can't do. That's why he's the Father. There's nothing he can't do. Don't worry. All of us are going to fit. It's going to be perfect. All of us going to have space and land and be able to breathe. It's going to be good, y'all. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. Don't limit him. See, don't think in terms of human. You got to be above human on this. Remember now, we are partakers of a divine nature. There's no limit on divinity. The measurements are, whenever the Father is measuring something, he's measuring it against the perfection of righteousness, right? So he measures the city because we know that's perfection of righteousness. And he said remember he said in Revelation 11, the out part, leave that. That's given to the Gentiles. Don't measure that. Don't measure that. Leave that. The out, leave that. Measure those that in the temple and those that worship in the temple. Measure them. Don't measure outside. Okay. There are things we just think we know, but we don't know nothing. I'm telling you, we're going to learn so much in the kingdom. And we're going to see dimensions and levels and things we just never even conceived of, brethren. Okay? Never even conceived of. And so don't worry about, how is we all going to fit. Brethren, it's all good. Believe me, it's all the word. It's all good. Nothing is impossible with Father Yah. Nothing. Okay? He can make all of us fit in the phone booth and make the phone booth feel like it's 10,000 miles by 10,000 miles. I'm telling you, that's him. Okay? So don't limit him. Don't limit him. Praise the Most High. Okay? Let's see. Where was it? Okay, wait. All right. Okay, verse 17. From verse 17, oh yeah, these are right. That's why, isn't that what the word tells us? I have not seen, nor has come into the mind of man, nor hath ear heard the things which God prepared for them that trust in him. Brethren, we can't, there's things we just don't know. And it's all good because that leaves room for discovery. You ever been to a place that's real nice? You go to a place and you say, man, this place is nice. And one of the nice things about places that you feel are nice is the discovery. Like you're looking at things, you're seeing things, you're going to parts of the place that you hadn't seen. And that part of it is the part of the joy of such a place, right? So when we get to the kingdom, there's going to be a lot of real Discovery. We're going to be seeing and learning, and man, it's going to be wonderful. It's going to be one. It will never end. It will never end. That's right. It will never end. Praise the Most High. But he's telling us there'll be no more pain there. We know there's no sorrow there. Nobody's crying there. Nobody's sad there. None of that. Praise the Most High. Okay. Verse 17. And he measured the wall thereof 144. And he measured the wall thereof 144 cubits, according to the measure of a man, that is, of the angel, 144 cubits. And the building of the wall was of jasper, and the city was pure gold, like unto clear glass. And the foundations of the city were garnished with all manner of precious stones. The first foundation was jasper, the second sapphire, the third chalcedony, the fourth emerald, the fifth sardonyx. Let me ask you all a question. Where in the Old Testament do you see these precious stones? There's a place in the Old Testament where you see these precious stones. Did you know that? You should. There's a place in the Old Testament. That's right. Thank you, Amar. It's on the breastplate, the precious stones of the 12 tribes of Israel. Here they are, the cities made of the same precious stones. Praise the Most High. The cities, you think that's a coincidence? The cities made of the same precious stones that are representing the 12 tribes of Israel. That's right. It's on the breastplate of the priests, representing the 12 tribes, the 12 precious stones. And here, the city is made of the same 12 precious stones. Praise the Most High. The fifth sardonyx, the sixth sardius, the seventh chrysolite, the eighth beryl, the ninth topaz, the 10th chrysoprasus, the 11th jacinth, and the 12th amethyst. And the 12 gates were 12 pearls. Every several gate was of one pearl, and the street of the city was pure gold, as it were, transparent glass. And I saw no temple therein, for Yahweh, Al Shaddai, and the Lamb are the temple of it. And the city had no need of the sun. That doesn't mean there won't be a sun, but the city is brighter than the sun. And the city had no need of the sun, neither of the moon to shine in it, for the glory of Yahweh did lighten it, and the Lamb is the light thereof. And the nations of them which are saved, notice the word nations. The nations of them which are saved. Who is that? It says the nations of them which are saved shall walk in the light of it. And the kings of the earth do bring their glory and honor into it. So there are nations that are saved and kings of those nations. See, this is right. Gentile nations that are saved and kings of those nations. Brethren, you don't look at the nations you got now, because it's not going to be based on this. There's going to be nations that are of the kingdom. New nations with kings, righteous kings. Praise the Most High. And the nations of them which are saved shall walk in the light of it. And the kings of the earth do bring their glory and honor into it. And the gates of it shall not be shut at all by day, for there shall be no night there. And they shall bring the glory and honor of the nations into it. And there shall in no wise enter into it anything that defileth, neither whatsoever worketh abomination or maketh a lie, but they which are written in the Lamb's book of life. Praise the Most High. So you can have nations of Gentiles, kings of them, and they're going to be in the city, and they're going to come to the Feast of Tabernacles, and we're going to all rejoice because his name is going to be one. There's going to be one God, and his name one. Praise the Most High. Praise the Most High. I mean, you can't touch this, man. You can't really touch this. This is amazing. Praise the Most High. So we're going to stop here for now. We'll come back and finish the book of Revelation in chapter 22. When we come back, it's now 11:48 Eastern. We'll probably come back, I guess, 12:30, maybe 12:30. Come back and finish the book of Revelation and praise the Most High. Brethren, not only is our study here, almost done for now, but its prophecies are almost done. We're living in the fulfillment of these things. That's the exciting part. We're living in the fulfillment of these things. We're here. Of all the generations before you and me, we are the ones being brought here for this. We being brought here for this. We could have been born generations ago. We could have been born 2,000 years ago, 100 years ago, 200, 300, 400, anytime. We were brought. Now, blessed is he that waiteth and cometh to the 1,335 days. That's what Daniel 12 says. That means those that are going to be here at the end. That's us. That's us. Here we are. Okay. Called from before the foundation of the world to be here at the end of the world. You and me are here together. To me, it makes our brotherhood even stronger to know that we both have been called for this time by the same Spirit before the earth was made, that we were called for these last movements. We are here. We are who John was talking about. We are who Messiah was talking about. We are who Isaiah and Ezekiel were talking about. We're here. We are the children of Daniel's people. The great prince Daniel, which stands for the children of thy people. We are the children of Daniel's people. And brethren, it's not much time. Like I said, you're going to see some crazy things. You're already seeing crazy things. A woman come get a boyfriend. Boyfriend comes and supposed to take her child to school. Rapes and kills the girl. No, he going to get caught. Rape and kill the girl. Don't care. This is where we at. This is where we at. 10-year-old, 13-year-old girl, dude like 30-something, 40-something years old. Rape and kill, leave her body somewhere like an animal. You know, brethren, we are already here. And we're going to see worse than that. This is Babylon. It ain't going to get better. For us, we're going to become more solid in the Father's Spirit. For them, it's going to get more wicked, more dark. May the Most High bless you and keep you. May he cause his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May he lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Yes, protect our children. Shalom.